Okay, first of all, I want to thank Samantha Bishop and the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce for procuring this building for us today, the Brandon Center, so that we could go ahead and give this information to you. And we're very excited to be here. My name is Carl Watson. I'm the new Executive Director of the Southeast Volusia Advertising Agency / New Smyrna Beach Area Visitors Bureau. And to start off, I would like to thank some of our officials that decided to come and help us with this tonight. Of course, our councilwoman, Deb Denny's from the southeast part of the county here that's representing us from the county council. Now, Mike, I'm going to probably butcher this, okay? Mike Ignasiak.
Actually, you got it perfect.
Good. Vice Mayor of the City of Edgewater. Jack Grasty, the Vice Mayor of the City of New Smyrna. And Janet Shera, the Economic Development Coordinator for the City of Edgewater. Okay.
And Pat Northey sends her regrets, Councilwoman Northey.
Yes, Pat Northey was going to be here, but unfortunately her mother became ill, so she could not be here. Did I miss anybody that I should be announcing? I never want to miss an official if I can help it. Okay. And I also want to introduce our new chair of our board, Mr. Tom Clapsaddle. He is with the Country Inn and Suites. Thank you for being here this evening, sir. And then I want to introduce my team. And I say team because I don't have a staff. I've never had a staff and I will never have a staff. We all have our jobs that we do. And I just happen to have the title of Executive Director. But if I didn't have them, I would not be an Executive Director because I wouldn't have a job. So first of all, Sherry Hendershot, she is our Operations Manager. She handles all our financials for us. She makes sure that I dot the I's, cross the T's, and do everything I'm supposed to do. And then we have Elizabeth Gifford, who is our Marketing and Projects Manager. And she handles all of our advertising buys. She makes sure that all of our advertising gets where it needs to go, makes recommendations to us as to what we need to be putting our money toward as far as advertising. We have Bobby Clementi, Senior Graphic and Web Designer. And she does most of our ads, I'd say the majority of our ads, as well as updates our website and keeps it current and popping like it is now. We have Mariah Chandler, who is our marketing coordinator. And that is kind of she's everything. I mean, she does it, we ask her, she does it. I mean, she's there and she gets it done, and we're very excited to have her on board with us because she's the one that does everything that I try not to do. And then we also have Mary Safuto, who is not here with us this evening. She's our weekend person that runs our visitor center and also works with us sometimes during the week, but primarily she's responsible for keeping that going for us on the weekends. Okay, we will start with our presentation. And the SVAA mission statement is pretty short. The Southeast Volusia Advertising Authority will advertise and promote Southeast Volusia County to tourists and the travel industry worldwide as a premier vacation experience. What it really means is we're here to put heads in beds. If we don't put heads in beds, we don't have jobs, and I want to keep my job. So that's what we do. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about how we can make this happen. And so we give the consumer a positive image of Southeast Volusia with our branding, we hope that, and we're constantly trying to update this, make sure that it gets sharper, and we define ourselves better and better with the market that we have and who we need to bring in. We have a message as value plus affordability plus family. And we have been very fortunate to have Ms. Evelyn Fine with the Mid-Florida Marketing Research Company, who's going to be helping us as well as she already works with the Halifax Area Advertising Authority, and she's starting to work also, I believe, with the West Volusia folks. And she is going to help us consolidate, find out individually where we stand as far as what our market is, what our advertising does, doesn't do, and basically what I'd like to do is have Evelyn just come up and give you, she's much more eloquent about being able to tell you what she does. And I've known, I won't say how long, I have known Evelyn sometime, and I can guarantee you that she is highly respected throughout this county and beyond. Evelyn.
Thank you very much. Let's see if I can get this complicated piece of equipment here to work. There we go. Okay. I'm not even going to ask if everybody can hear me. I think it's working. No? So I'm so happy to be here, and we've been talking to some of you for years and years. I see some people that I know and that I respect. Those of you in the hotel, condo, and timeshare industry are the bravest people I know. You are absolutely putting yourself on the line every single time, and so I'm not from the government, and I'm here to help. So we've been studying tourism, especially in Volusia County, since 1979. We've worked in not only in the Daytona Beach area, but in Sarasota, Bradenton, St. Augustine, Polk County, and other counties. And we've worked for the state of Florida, as a matter of fact, for many years, going into smaller counties to help them understand their visitors, plan their marketing, and evaluate their results. And that's similar to what we're going to be doing this coming year for Southeast Volusia and for West Volusia. We have devised and pioneered methods of getting accurate and complete information in the least difficult and least expensive way to things that we think are really important. What some of you know about is the occupancy and daily rate data collection that we do. And some of you participate in that. And for those of you who are giving us your information every month, thank you so much. We do this in cooperation with the Hotel and Lodging Association of Volusia County. And every month we send to every hotel, every timeshare, every condo operator, every management group, a little form, and we ask for just a few pieces of information. Number one, the number of room nights that were available during that month. And you might think, well, you know how many rooms I have in my hotel. Why do you keep asking that question? And the reason is because, particularly for smaller properties or for groups of condo properties, sometimes you have a relative staying in your hotel. Sometimes you have hotel rooms under renovation, so they're set aside for some reason. But we cannot predict how many rooms you're going to have. So we ask you for the number of room nights. We then ask you for the number of room nights that have been sold during that month. And we then ask for the gross revenue, how much money was brought in for just room nights. So that's without any kind of gift shops, without any restaurants, any lounges, or any kind of vending machines, just gross revenue for rooms. We take all of that information and we add it all up, and we then slice and dice it in lots of different ways. The one way that we are now able to do, because we have enough properties in New Smyrna Beach participating with us, is to report a New Smyrna Beach segment. And I am just so pleased about that, because it's been a long time since we had enough properties to do that. We have to have at least 5 properties every month reporting, because we're very, very careful with everybody's data. And we did, the last couple of months, we've actually had enough properties to report New Smyrna. And you know what? It tells us not just about New Smyrna, but it tells us the impact that New Smyrna has on the rest of the county. When we remove your hotels from the rest of the county, we actually see a change. So it's very, very important that we have you in there, and it's very important that we are able to look at you as a separate sector. The other thing that we do is we count the information that comes out of the county on collections. As you know, those of you who are in the hotel and accommodation business, you're supposed to report those collections on a given date every month. How many rooms, how much did you collect during the previous month? And then it goes into a report that the county issues to your ad authority, to the local elected officials, and it tells you just how business was during that month. Well, there are some times, for various reasons, where a hotel does not submit the data on the information or the money or the collections on time, and it shows up in other months. And so it's very important for us to analyze that information and let everybody know what happened during a particular month and what separates it out. I'll give you an example. 2 or 3 months ago, we saw a huge boost in one of the areas of the county. It grew by about 12%. Well, when we looked at the data, we discovered that 8% of that was from money that had been owed to the county for several months and was just now showing up in the collections. So it's very important for us to look at that, and it gives you a better idea of how you've been doing. Some of the new things that we're doing for Southeast Volusia that we're beginning to work on right now is a conversion study. A conversion study is exactly that. It tells us how many people who shopped for a New Smyrna Beach area vacation actually bought and became heads and beds. And as Carl said, and as we all know, heads and beds is what this is all about. So what we do is we ask the authority for the names of all the people that have requested information for the past year, and we're going to call them, and we're going to ask them a whole bunch of questions. Did you choose this area, or did you choose another area? And once we know which area they chose, we ask them a different survey for each one of them. So for those who chose, we asked them, what made you come to the area? Was the collateral information, in other words, the brochures and all that information that were sent to them, did that help them make the decision? Who else were they considering, and why did they choose your destination over another destination? What did they do when they were here? Where else do they go on vacation, and can we convince them to come back again for other vacations? What media prompted their decision to look for the information? And for those who didn't come to the area, we asked them similar questions. Was the collateral from the other area better or more useful to you? Did you decide to go for other reasons than the collateral material, than the brochures? Could be a relative that said, well, I want to go there. Very often what we find out when we do a conversion study is they tell us, well, it's not that I didn't go to your destination, it's just that I went to the other destination. So will they consider New Smyrna Beach down the road for another time? So this again is about an 8 to 10 minute interview that we'll be doing with these people. At the end of the time, we'll be able to say what converted and what didn't. And we'll be able to tell the authority which media will work better for them in the future. Any questions about the conversion study? That one's a little bit different and new to this area. Oh, great. Excellent. So the other thing that we're going to be doing is a visitor profile. A visitor profile will tell us about the people that actually came, the people who paid their money to stay in hotels, motels, timeshares, and condos in this area. We have been tracking visitors to the Halifax area since 1979. It enables them to decide what time of year to advertise, where to go with the advertising, what to put into the message for the advertising. And this year, for the first time ever, we are including New Smyrna Beach and West Volusia into that project. And because we are able to include it with the Halifax area as part of one overall visitor profile, we're able to do it for Southeast Volusia and West Volusia for a lot less than it would have been had we done individual reports. So what we're going to do is we're going to report a visitor profile for the entire county with sectors that reported separately for each part of the county. So we decided a long time ago to do this in a very different way. Some of you have been at Disney World or checking out of a hotel and you've been intercepted and they've asked you questions. We don't do it that way. What we do is we get a list of people who'd stayed in the hotels, and again, we call them when they've gone home and they're relaxing in their own homes, their own living rooms, and we ask them a series of questions. It's about, again, an 8 to 12 minute interview. One of the things that we find so entertaining about this, because we do an awful lot of research for other kinds of businesses and industries, is that our phone people tell us that they can't get people off the phone. Everybody loves to talk about their vacation. And as we're going through the survey and as they're talking, they say, well, let me tell you about this too. And can I tell you, I really enjoyed this. So they are absolutely willing and able and eager to tell us about the vacation. So we do prove a sample of hotel properties, and we are going to be hearing from us, those of you who are in the industry, and we're going to be asking you to let us have access to your registration list. So the profile data includes such things as origins and demographics of visitors, activities while they're in the destination, their travel methods, did they come by car or by air, who was in their travel party, did they travel with teenagers or small children, or did they travel with adult friends and relatives? That's a very, very big market right now, where adult couples will travel with their spouse and the spouse's sister or brother, something like that. And that, by the way, that's family also, not just mom, dad, and the little kids. So what are the places that you visited while you were here? Did you come down from New Jersey, stay a few days in New Smyrna, keep going someplace else? And how can we get you to extend your time in New Smyrna? What about internet travel agency use and other kinds of social media use? Right now, that's the hot topic, and there are so many ways in which you can spend your money on the internet. We need to know what of those ways will appeal to your visitors and what are they using. So we want to know the lengths of stay, how much money they spend here, and we're then able to track economic impact for your special events and activities. We ask them about levels of satisfaction. We actually ask about driving on the beach. Did they? Did they pay to park near the beach? And was it important to them? And do they do that at other places as well? And so we'll have some information about that hot issue. So again, we will conduct 75 interviews each month for SVAA, and we will look at 6,300 annual registration cards in order to do that, which will give us a very, very large amount of data for origin markets. And so we'll be able to tell you exactly where your visitors have come to. As a little side benefit for the hotels that participate, we will turn over any comments, whether they're friendly or sometimes unfriendly, directly to the hotel. And that information doesn't go in the report, but very often a hotel can fix something before it makes its way to TripAdvisor or any of those other review sites. Of course, specific hotel information is completely confidential. We accomplish the reports on a monthly basis, but it generally takes us a few months to issue a report, and that's because we wait for hotels to give us the data, the registration data, and so we're often working on 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months at a time. So the SVAA will use this data to plan timing and message, markets, and all of their advertising programs. So we think it's going to be a very, very valuable addition to what's going on at your bureau and with your staff. Again, those of you in the hotel industry will be hearing from us. Please, please, please say yes when we ask if you'll participate with our visitor profile research. And of course, please continue to give us the information for occupancy and ADR. It's absolutely essential that that information be available. Any questions? Yes?
Do you have any reward for keeping these people on the line for 10 minutes?
No, as a matter of fact. They are happy to talk about their vacations. We have never, ever had to offer a reward. And for those of you who didn't hear, I was asked whether we provide a reward or an incentive for people to talk to us on the telephone. We sure don't.
But you don't call them at dinner time either.
Sorry?
You don't call them at dinner time either.
No. But one interesting thing about this survey is that our phone people tell us that people will say, you know what, I'm preparing dinner, or I'm getting ready to sit down for dinner. What time will you call me back? So this one is a very, very compelling survey to people. Any other questions? Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to be working with you.
I would have killed for this information in some of my other jobs. I'm so pleased and excited that we're going to have this opportunity to work with Evelyn to get this information, to take the money that we are given to work with and use it to the best ability that we can to bring the optimum peak amount of people to this community and to the surrounding communities that we represent through this particular organization. And we're very, very pleased to be part of that. Okay, we are going to continue to identify new market trends and enhance our creative approach for destination marketing. Again, working with Mid-Florida Marketing. We're researching niche markets. Now, actually, we started kind of looking at something right now, and I'm a couch potato, I'll admit it. I like to go home and watch television and not do too much. But I've heard about this new cycling trend, that a bunch of folks are out there who really like to ride on bicycles. And so I started looking into the Bike Florida website and so forth, and it seems that we have a boutique group of folks coming down here in November that will be staying at one of our properties over on the beach. They're coming in from St. Augustine down through Flagler, Daytona Beach, and then coming into here. Spending the evening, touring our area the next day, going to DeLand, back up to Palatka, and then back to St. Augustine. What was really interesting to me was that each one of these people over this 6-day period was going to pay $1,995 for the privilege of riding on a bicycle. folks, that's my kind of folks. I won't ride on it, but I'll stand next to it. So these are just things that we're trying to do. We're trying to come up with new ideas, new niche markets, and again, because of the work that Evelyn's going to do in her organization, hopefully this will also give us some more ideas on different areas that we go into. We are developing a comprehensive development policy for our events. This is an ongoing thing. We're trying to come up with policies and procedures that will make it as easy as possible for our folks to come to us during the year to request funding. We're coming up with new ideas on how to streamline this, kind of simplify it a little bit, and try to make it not quite as some people might say, abrasive, and we don't want that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to be kind and fun, and that's our job. So this is one of the areas that we're trying to work on for our next go-around on that. We are also maintain and create new partnerships that strengthen the area's tourism interest through community stakeholders. When I first got here, I told the board, I said, I've got 40 years of experience in this. I've been all over the country. I've owned part ownership of a hotel in the Bahamas. I have a lot of experience. That doesn't mean I know everything, and the older I get, to realize how much I don't know. I need everybody's help. I need hotels. I need chambers. I need anyone and everyone that has an idea to come into my office and say, hey, Carl, look, how about this? Because without that, without you, the community, and the business community giving me the input, yes, we can come up with a certain amount of things, and of course a great deal through Evelyn's organization, but again, you're the eyes and ears of the community. We need your help and we want your help, and we do ask you to, if you have any ideas, let us know. They may work, they may not, but we certainly want to hear from you if you do. Okay, develop a cooperative enterprise between the three Volusia County advertising authorities for cost-effective joint campaigns that will increase countywide brand awareness while also promoting the individual areas. This is a step that we're working with. We're also going to be working with the other two advertising authorities on a Canadian campaign, and then in the springtime we're also going to be doing a joint, basically a fan trip throughout the county. So that we can bring them to all of our beautiful areas to let them see all the great things that we have. My philosophy is, yes, I want heads and beds here. And I definitely think that if we can just show folks what we have, they're going to stay here. But if we can keep them in this county one more day because of something we have here, or Renee has in DeLand, or Jeff has up in the Daytona Beach area, that's one more day that they're spending money in Volusia County. And that is important to all of us. So that is our claim to fame here, is going to start working on a collaboration, trying to get together. We're also going to be meeting, I believe in November, to discuss the bike situation, possibly do a week-long or a 5-day bike event that can be done throughout the county. So these are just some of the ideas that we have. We're definitely going to collaborate with our other partners throughout the county and try to bring in as many people and get the visual of Volusia County as well as our individual areas. We're going to strengthen the volunteer program through new recruitment and enhance knowledge through on-site properties. I'm getting a lot more relaxed now. You'll notice I'm breaking it down. But again, we have some fantastic, fabulous volunteers. These folks come in, they're so excited, and I know Sam has the same thing. They're so excited, they just can't wait to get in there and talk to folks and tell them what's going on and just and have a great time. We're going to make sure that we continue to give them all the help we can. We're going to be setting up different tours of different properties so that they can get a better feel of what's out there, what the product is. Any of you that have not had someone come to your property, our volunteers, Mariah will be setting that up and taking care of it. So we'd love to have these folks come out and see what you have so that they can have a better idea of what we have to offer to our wonderful guests that are coming into the area. Okay, let's just go through a few statistics. Our convention development tax collections for Southeast Volusia Advertising Authority. We are up 9.375% through the month of August. We are hoping, and and hoping and praying that it's going to go over 10. We're very, very pleased with what we see here. We're getting a lot of folks coming into the Welcome Center that's not been there before. A lot of people go into our website and our Facebook pages that we have not seen before. And actually, it's very heartening to see this, that we are actually, and I shouldn't say this because I am working with the other advertising agencies, but we're ahead of all of them. Anyway, onward and upward. Okay, we have in 2012, 2013, we had actually 3 new establishments open in our area: the Black Dolphin Inn, the Hampton Inn, and the Inn on the Avenue, which I have not had the opportunity to get into that particular property, and I can't wait to go over and take a look. And some of the properties that had renovations was our Best Western, the Night Swan Intercoastal Bed and Breakfast, and the Wild Dolphin Motel. So that to me kind of seems to make sure that they are happy and they want to be here and they wanted to open up here and they see the opportunity that we have in this area to make some money. And on our walk-ins to the Visitor Center, as I said earlier, over last year, through the year, we had a 9% increase in walk-ins to our Welcome Center. And we have a lot of folks asking some interesting questions. I've been in the business a long time, and I will say I've heard a couple of them in the last couple of weeks that I've never heard before in my life. We also, if you haven't been by our Visitor Center, we'd like to invite you to come out. We just did some enhancements. We bought some new display areas, brochure displays, trying to make it more warm and inviting. We've gotten some new of our signage up. You'll notice on the top our Visitor Center sign has been changed. We're very excited about it. It's trying to get that modern feel, the moving forward feel. And if you haven't been by, we'd love to show it to you. The staff is very excited. They were actually Sherry was there one weekend with Roberta F. Sean, and they were putting all this stuff together. I did say I would help and supervise, but unfortunately something came up. I couldn't make it. Going on, this is very exciting for our website. We have a 20% increase of visitors to the website over last year. So that means that people are getting the message. They're finding out what we're about. They're getting it, and they're looking and wanting to get more information. The same thing that I'm going to jump here real quick. The same thing for our Facebook. We're up 64% over last year as far as our total fans to our Facebook page. We have 16,000. Looking at the wrong way. Okay, 16,307. So we're excited about that. And I will say that Sherry keeps that thing several times a day. Sometimes she's going in and having to put some information on it, trying to keep up. As far as the areas that we are getting our visitors from, obviously at this point it's primarily from Florida, with 34% from Volusia, about 32% from Greater Orlando, and then 34% from the other parts of the state. And then we go down from there: Georgia, New York, Ontario, Ohio, Tennessee, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Michigan. And I'm kind of glad to see some from Texas, because having come from Texas, I'm going to try to get more of them to come back down here. All right. And this is something we're very excited about, and I'm sure most of you are aware of it. The new Smyrna Beach area Beach Weeks. We did this in the spring. We started out with 17 different events at that time. We had approximately 2,127 room nights that we could could verify. And the concept of this is a package with a series of festivals into a season that targets shoulder times, that includes existing events, festivals, as well as new ones that create a critical mass that results in increased room tax revenues for the district, provides additional visitor activity options, improves visitor experiences, raises the destination's brand, and contributes economically throughout the community. Well, that's a lot of words, but basically what it is, I was here for 2 weeks, and I went out with some old friends of mine, and they found out that I was going to be here, and they said, God, I wish we had all the activities y'all have down there. And all I could do is, I'm sorry, just come on down. We'd love to have you. And so yes, we can be proud of what we have in this area. And so we have started one for the fall, and I'm sure you all are aware of it. We have 30 events over a 10-week period, and I am going to bring up a good gentleman that is the one that actually puts this thing on for us, because he's the man with the plan. We are going to have Mr. Frank DeMarkey come up with Southern Stone Events, and he's just going to give you a quick rundown of what we've done so far, where we're going, and all the fun things that are going to be happening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank, and I work for an event company, and I put on a lot of events up and down the Fun Coast, but in more recent years, lots and lots and lots of them right here in New Smyrna. Moved here in 2000, came to New Smyrna for the first time back when Debbie was the executive director, and she invited me down to visit, and within 6 months I bought a house and truly fell in love with the town. So it's my most favorite thing to do is to put on events here, and I'm particularly proud of Beach Weeks and what's happened with it. As Carl said, we started in the spring. Our goal obviously was to get more people to come to town, and particularly people to come to town to stay overnight, and at the same time raise room rates. And as he went through all that, if you looked at the Mays and Junes like I always focus on, you can see we did a pretty good job. Good enough that they're trusting us to try to do it again in the fall. I don't have access to the data that you do, but I do go on hotels.com about twice a day and look up the 3 hotels that always pop up in New Smyrna and a couple of hotels that pop up in Daytona, just to compare it to somebody. And I think so far so good this go around. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. As we all know, fall is much harder than the spring. The fall we can focus a lot more on families. In the spring we can. In the fall it's much more difficult. It's much more empty nesters, and they're creatures of habit, and we need to get them to change their habit and come here. Having said all that, we took existing events, packaged them together, found out where there were holes, tried to fill them in, and we filled them in with events that weren't on Flagler and weren't on Canal Street, but were actually on the beach. And if you look at the other communities in Volusia County, very, very few events happen on the beach. So I'm the person that fills out the paperwork to get the permit for the beach, and I assure you they weren't used to it on their end either. So we figured out how to put on a lot of these events on the beach, and it's learning as we go. But they've been incredibly supportive. We got all of our permits today for Fall Beach Weeks, and we're thankful for that. And I think that, and I can't take credit, that was Tim saying we need to look at this beach and do something with it. That was very forward thinking. I think it's an opportunity that sets us apart. The Kite Festival, the Sand Art Festival, the 5K run, all those things that were launched last year are returning here in the fall. There's a lot more events that take place in the fall, so we didn't have to add too many new ones in this year, but we did add our first ever book festival. We went off to a pretty good start on that. We're copying the Savannah Book Festival. It's a similar kind of town, similar kind of target market, and people who read books, I think, very much match our customer profile. So it's an event we think is going to have a lot of growth potential for it. This weekend we have a Chili and Craft Beer Festival. It supports Save the Tatas and the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Next weekend we have our spooktacular costume, surfing, and standing paddleboard competition, the Sand Art Festival, Wine Walk, and then the 27th is another event, the Lighthouse Half Marathon. So this weekend we're pretty packed, even with it being Biketoberfest. Next weekend we're off the charts with events. There are over 1,200 people from all 50 states and about 15 countries already signed up for the Lighthouse Half Marathon. And these kinds of things, as they grow, and the packaging them with Beach Weeks are just going to make them that much bigger. We're doing it again in the spring. Beach Weeks in the spring starts May 5th and it goes through July 5th. We made that 10 weeks as well. And then all of the events should be repeating. The one new one will be an event called the Book and the Cook. It'll be similar to the book festival, but they will all be cookbook authors. So we're going to have the big mirrors and the demonstration tables. And we have 18 cookbook authors already confirmed. They'll be coming here and one after another, all doing cooking demonstrations. And for those of you who are foodies, each of the restaurants, like on the South Causeway and all over the city, will be adopting those cookbook authors. So you'll be able to go to Norwood's or whatever restaurant you'd like to, and there'll be special menu items from that cookbook right there for you to eat that night, meet the author, and get your book signed. So we're trying to be very creative and think outside the box with our new events, and we hope to see you out there. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, more news. We're up for 2 big awards. The Southeast Event and Festival Association, we're a finalist, and the Florida Event Association. Beach Weeks are finalists for the 2013/14 awards. So we'll know one in November, and one in February, and one in June, if we win it. That's it.
When you put your activities together, do you do it in January for the whole year, or is it prior to that to look back and see what works, what didn't work, and how do you get to be with you?
Well, you can just call me. I'll be not sort of the same type, but separate from that, it's weird because when you go for funding, we do this with all the cities that we do events. If it happens in Ormond and Daytona and Flagler Beach and everywhere else, you have to get in on their funding cycle. So when we went in and presented the fall beach weeks and spring beach weeks for 2014, the spring ones from 2013 were just finished. So the no-brainers, the Kite Festival, way off the charts, way more than anyone expected. The Jazz Festival and the reggae music. We tried to, the Seaside Fiesta weekend and the surfing competitions that weekend of the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And we wanted to convert the people that come for Seaside Fiesta and then show up again on Saturday to watch surfing, to stay overnight, and Bike and Bar takes place during that weekend, although we didn't promote that one. We added the Reggae Music Festival and tried to get that more youthful crowd, and it was successful, clearly very successful. So when we linked those existing ones, we just had the Country Music Festival that was purposefully placed on the same weekend as the Red Billfish Tournament. Because if you went out at night to any of those concerts, you saw people there that were clearly fishermen from out of state. So we book in advance, and they could always change. We could always have a dumper, and we're like, all right, well, we'll stick it on for now, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm the first to say, I'm not doing something right unless I screw up at least once a year with an event.
So you just need to get a phone call, is that all?
Well, I'm sure, and you can always call me. I'm not sure what you need or how I can help you.
Okay,
And I'll be here afterward, too.
okay.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Janet Shira with the City of Edgewater.
Hi, Janet.
Hi, I'm just curious on the beach weeks, is it something that's an SVAA program or is it your program? I'm trying to get involved.
SVAA owns the name Beach Weeks.
Okay.
It's their thing, it's their property. Within Beach Weeks, there are some events that my company has created that we own.
Okay.
And of course, we have an obligation and a history that we want to always keep them here.
And I guess I just want to say that the City of Edgewater would love to host, we have a couple of beautiful parks along the river, and although we don't have beachfront, I'd love to talk to you about maybe incorporating something in the Edgewater area.
And I would love to, we're sticking our toes out. We actually had the Osteen Diner in Osteen, Florida, participated in the Country Music Festival, and you know what? Their little parking lot was completely full, and they were even parking on the grass. There weren't a whole lot of tourists there from Ohio, but for them in that little area, it made them feel good, and they were part of the bigger picture, which really did generate a lot of tourists. And we have our toes out with Port Orange, with the half marathon. Certainly, I imagine everyone would be totally enjoying having stuff in Edgewater too, and I'd love to talk to you about that.
Great,
Just kind of figure out the assets and move forward with them.
right.
So if that's it, see you.
There's also, you can go to beachweeks.com, and it'll take you right to the landing portion, the Beach Weeks part of our website that tells you all of the events and links to all other information that you might be looking for.
And you will notice that we do have the name New Smyrna Beach Area Beach Weeks because we want to grow this into the entire southeast Volusia area. We actually are also doing, I believe, as part of this, we have a golf.
The golf pass.
Yes, and we've got 4 or 5 of the different golf courses throughout the area that are going to be participating. So we are, as Frank said, we're trying to expand this. If you need Frank's information, I'm sure he'll be glad to give it to you because he's always looking for new and exciting things. My only problem with Frank is when he comes in, I know I need some coffee because he exhausts me. He doesn't stop for 15 minutes. He talks straight, telling me everything he's doing, and it's just, I'm kind of like glazed over after it's over. I do want to thank you, Frank, for all you're doing for us, buddy. It's fantastic. And really, last but not least, all of this is leading up to what are we doing? And I'm hoping that in our own way, we are helping to really make an impact in southeast Volusia as well as Volusia County. Because some of the accolades, we have been voted Best Beach from 2007 through 2013 by the readers of the Orlando Sentinel. Since they began having the best beach, we have won it every single year. So that should, actually, you can give yourselves a round of applause for that one because you keep the thing up and you make it happen. It's what we have in this area that makes this exciting. We've also gotten Florida's Top 10 Beach Towns Award from Dr. Beach with USA Today. And not least is World's Top 20 Surf Towns from National Geographic. So obviously we are doing something right. Again, we want to thank you for coming. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them. If I can't, then I will ask my great team here to answer them for you if we can, and if we can't, we'll find the answer and give it to you. Okay, with that, then I want to again thank everyone for coming. And again, my cards are back there. All the team's cards are back there. If you have anything you need to talk to us about, my door is always open. As a matter of fact, it is always open, isn't it? Yeah, okay. She won't let me shut it.
You want to play the video?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Thank you for, I told you she takes care of it. I want to show you real quick. We have this video running for Beach Weeks in 80 of the theaters around the Central Florida area to help promote.
New Smyrna Beach Area Beach Weeks is back by popular demand. Celebrate our area's unique coastal style of living September through November with 10 non-stop weeks of fun events. Visit beachweeks.com for exciting details and plan your stay today.
Nice voice, though.
I'm sorry?
Nice voice, though. You did a good job.
Yeah, whoever.
Did you drink his coffee?
Yeah, I'm really trying to find the person that did that voiceover and bring him in for a little more. Okay, with that, again, if you have no more questions, please, again, feel free to stop in and see us. We'd love to show you around, and I thank you for coming.